people?
Yo.
As you may or you may not see, Nicole is kind of got a little shorter on us this week. Changed her hair and everything, put her glasses on. She looks a little more intelligent this week. So I mean, the conversation might be, what I'm saying, a little bit higher than
That's
what
so
we used to
shady.
having. What's so shady?
Shade. That's so shady.
I know not what you speak of.
Mm-hmm.
So we have Miss Egypt stepping in for Nicole. Nicole had a gig tonight, and so she didn't want to leave us without any female
representation.
Perspective.
There you go. So so she got Egypt to substitute in for it. So we'll start off with Egypt because she's new to the show. You know what I'm saying? And you are 16.
Yes,
She'll
I
be
am.
17 going on this year. So what was a 16-year-old's week like this week?
Just well, I had a performance on Monday.
You had a performance on Monday.
Yeah, kind of,
And
sort
you
of. It
hadn't
was
told
last
nobody?
minute. It was last minute. Like I had just found out that morning.
So
So,
what
yeah.
what did you sing?
I had to sing "Rise Up." I sing that song a lot. So yeah, I've been singing that song for a long time. But yeah, I had to sing it for a step show. It was like the last event for our Black History program at my school, and yeah, that was pretty cool. And then that was pretty much my week. I didn't do anything else. It's been kind of boring.
Nice.
That's it.
Yeah, it's only Wednesday.
It is only Wednesday. It just feels like it's later than that.
And our weeks tend to go from Wednesday to Wednesday. So when we normally ask, we're going from the last show to date. So it's 7 days, but won't hold you to it. My week was normal. Same old, same old. Yeah, guest star. Same old, same old. You know me. Slow motion. Nothing spectacular.
My week was, what I do this week? Worked out. Got half my goal in the gym. So like I still haven't got that 300 pound 5 times, but I got it up twice off me. Got 315 twice too. I started with a new client. She is slowly coming along with her. She got a big weight loss goal, but I think she had never worked out. So she when a person ain't never worked out, I think they think it's easier than what it is. They figure they could just wheel themselves through a lot of stuff. So like I think the first mistake she made was she wanted to work out 3 days consecutive. I'm like, hey, that looked good, you know what I'm saying, on your resume and everything, but you probably wanted to put some space between them days. She ain't pay attention until that end of that second day. Then it was like she couldn't move. So getting her into the habit is cool. And then other than that, we've been kind of slow motion. I don't think it's not a lot going on. I got like 2 projects, little small projects going. Other than that, they've been slow motion. I've been really trying to get the ebook done. The first ebook I was supposed to be getting out, I'm trying to get it done and looking at going somewhere else. But I've been looking at buying property, but I've been looking over in Gary. So that's really been my week in a nutshell, besides the fact that I need to clean up, and that has not happened as of yet. So
you just cleaned up, didn't you?
Man, what it is it's the fact of when I wash clothes, what I try to do is force myself to put them up. So I'll wash them, take them, and dump them out on the bed. But then I'll leave and go do something. And by the time I get back, it's a little late, and I'm just sleeping with clothes in because I'll push them to one side of the bed or take them, put them back in the hamper, and it just ain't been working out for me getting clothes folded up. That's really about it. You know what I'm saying? So other than that, I mean, it ain't like I need a total overhaul with cleaning up. Maybe I should call it straightening up. I need to straighten up.
Get your life together, man.
I'm trying. You know what I'm saying? I need some help. Maybe I need a wife or something like that. I need a help meet, as they call it. You know what I'm saying? Oh, my cousin got hit on by a dude with me yesterday. As I was telling my friend, you still ain't talked to him this, but he'll get off.
I did talk to him. He called me back. I talked to him.
You talked to him? What'd he say?
He told me what happened. I don't want to put his business.
You want to put his business out there? First time I was ever somewhere and a man bought me a drink. You know what I'm saying? He just sent it straight to the table. Because of my company I was with. What up, Ron? How we doing, boy? And I don't drink, so I mean, I couldn't partake, but he was hitting on Cuz while he was with me, so that was entertaining. So that was like the highlight of it, and this just happened. So I had a up to this point, my week has been cool. End of the week, we going up is football. So you know what I'm saying. I got cheerleading practice tomorrow. Excuse me, and then football at the end of the week, training. You all right? Oh, that's a dog.
Yeah, it's my dog. Sorry.
Ladybug want to be interviewed too.
Ladybug ain't never
Oh,
met
I think
me.
my food's here.
I would say you gave her that look like she was gonna do like she was gonna stop. Okay, go get your food. We'll be right back. She gonna run off and get her food, then she'll be back up in here with us. You know.
In the meantime, we can speak to the fact that because Nicole is here and we were unable to attain our guest, we pivoted the topic for today. We'll circle back to that. But today might be, I don't want to say more interesting, but it's going to be a conversation.
It'll be a conversation because from what we hear, Egypt has a lot to speak on with the topic that we're speaking about today. We need the input for people in our audience here, in the comments. We need y'all to comment, give her a little support. I don't know what she thinks about what it is. You know, I'm almost eager to get right into it. I don't really want to even talk about nothing else really because I just want to hear what she got to say. If we need to go around it or something like that. But it's a long post. The thing is, Nicole sent a post to our group. As y'all know, we have a group text that we in every day talking to each other. And
this we, you throw that word around a lot. You know, it's not really we, you know what I'm saying? It's really just me and Nicole.
I'm in it.
He said we like you interact with us.
I'm in it. I send a message every now and then. But you got to realize most of the time I don't interact because they'll have the entire conversation in the group text. The amount of time we get to the show, it ain't nothing to talk about. They be in there. They didn't gave all their arguments and everything. Me, I'm gonna look at it and say, okay, we're gonna talk about that. I'm gonna say what I got to say for the show. Nah,
80% of the stuff that go in there don't necessarily. It's not necessarily a topic though. So that's where the conversation comes from. It turns into a topic because of the back.
Because it turned into a topic because I don't talk about it. Most of the time, if I got into that with all that there, we would have no topics because we would talk about everything in the group text.
We do that now, sir.
No, you threw that we around and we
look,
don't.
Look, nah, it ain't we. Nah, it ain't we.
We don't talk about it all. Y'all talk about it. I just sit in the back and go, yeah. Kelly and Michelle always chatting. Beyonce save it for the show. Exactly. Save it for the show. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's for y'all.
I don't like the fact that y'all really accepting that he's Beyonce. We'll circle back to that.
Anything.
We'll circle back to that. You know,
we're gonna circle back to it. Egypt, who you think should be Beyonce there? Egypt, you talking about you weren't gonna say nothing.
That is a hard question. That's a very hard question.
It's all
I plead the fifth.
Okay, we'll take that.
That was a smart response. I like it.
Beyonce. Okay, I deal with the Beyonce. We good with that one. So. I'm
Thank
sorry.
you.
Before we get started, we have to say it is Get Rid of Women Month. What is that? Women History Month. Women should be History Month.
Yes, it's Women History Month or Women Empowerment Month.
Which one is it now? They're not the same thing. They're not the same thing.
Yes, okay. Women History Month.
It's Women's History Month. Okay. So within honoring Women's History Month, this conversation, we're going to try to see it from at all sides.
Congrats, that's his baby girl. She took her first steps today.
So he's gonna be on the women's
congratulations
side today. Okay. So before we jump into our topic, we have to, I guess, read where it came from. I think we have it queued up so we can put it on the screen. Who want to read it? You want to read it, Jake?
Sure. Well, I'm the best reader.
Okay. Guess what? I'm the best math person on here. So now we both got something.
Now you got it.
There we go.
You got it.
All right. So we'll put it on the screen. And we'll allow you guys to see it while Jay reads it, and then we can talk about it from there. Just the part one. I don't think we need to get into the second part of it.
I think it's all. This shit is really long. Jeez.
Yeah.
Okay. Who is holding men accountable for creating an environment so undesirable that women would rather leave, struggle, and experience the ridicule of being a single mom than stay with them? Who is holding men accountable for supporting the environment that creates the same woman they later despise? No one. No one. It is why I couldn't do the feminine energy work anymore. I have no desire to encourage women to be vulnerable for men that will not protect that vulnerability. Go get your money, sis. Build that empire, sis. Make sure your kids are good, sis. And when you meet a man who is already a leader because he has a plan worth following, he does not believe his protection and provision gives him permission to cheat on you or treat you any kind of way, and he is invested in being the best version of himself. Then you partner with him. That's a mouthful, right?
That was a lot.
I think we need the second half of it too.
You need second half?
Yeah.
Well, that was the second half. That's
that was
the
the
first
first
part.
half.
Yeah, that was the first part. Yeah, this is the second part. Oh, actually, nah, we don't need that. We don't need that.
Yeah, because that's the part.
Yeah, that's the part about her, who she is. We don't need that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay.
So
first.
We were told that our guest of honor had some very
Thoughts
strong
on this?
opinions. So
but I don't want to go first. I do not want to go first.
I mean, see, my thing, we'll get stuck on the first half with me. I don't like how it started off. I don't like the part where it goes, who's holding men accountable for creating an environment so undesirable that women would rather leave, struggle, and experience the ridicule of being a single mom than stay with him. And right there, you just blame the man for everything that is wrong in there. And the only accountability is on that man. He created this, whatever. And then the woman just doesn't want to be around him. That sounds so one-sided to me. I mean, we just blame men for all of our woes right there on that. If you notice, when I first started reading it, that I was kind of done with it right there. I
would say that within the group chat when we were having a conversation, it was asked, what are our thoughts on that? And my initial thoughts were along the same lines of yours. To me, you can't preach about accountability when you don't take any for your own situation, right? Or even if she's speaking in general. Everything that's happened bad to women is not at the fault of a man. I'm not saying that everything that's happened bad to women is at the fault of that woman. We all bear some accountability into
hold on. Easy, what you got to say? Because it look like
I don't have anything to say. I'm just listening. I'm taking the information in and I'm listening. Okay, you want to know?
When you said everything bad that happened to women is not the fault of a man, she literally disconnected, looked the other way and everything.
Okay, that's because I was thinking. So I'm gonna just say this. I'm gonna let you finish talking. I think I don't want to sound like I don't know the word, but
angry black woman.
No, that's not what I'm trying to say. I don't want to sound like I'm trying to sound smarter than you guys, or like I know more than you guys.
You tried. You said you don't.
I don't want to sound like that because you guys. What's bothering me is that I'm reading it right here, right?
Okay.
And the part that y'all are calling the second part, like the part you said we don't need to read because it's like her background part, that was actually the first part of the post. Where y'all started reading was a continuation. So she didn't start the post off like that. So
that's the way it was sent to us, though. That's the way we received it. So that's why it came out like that.
Oh, well, now you know. So you can continue. I'll listen.
Okay, well, question though. Do you think the second part has a bearing on the tone of the part that we read?
The first part, from what you said, it is.
Yes, because it explains.
We want to read it then. I want to hear it then.
Okay.
Put it out
there. Okay, I'll read it. Okay. So the first part says, I strayed away from Clubhouse relationship discussions because they were typical. 100% of the discussions were directed towards how Black women need to do better. The rooms would be filled with hurt Black men and vulnerable Black women. They would remind me of my old Facebook posts, the ones that would get tons of shares. But yesterday, the experts had a different topic. They wanted to focus on how men can improve. The room had few men listening, and the ones who were listening argued everything the experts said. These are the same experts they've cheered and helped to make popular on Clubhouse. The experts, women who make a living teaching women how to be more feminine and attract quality men, had come to the same realization I had years ago. If you teach women how to better prepare for a healthy marriage with a quality man, who are they going to marry? The reality is there are 100 to 1 ratio of resources for women to men when it comes to relationships. Our community specifically is heavily invested in raising the bar for women while also humbling them to be with any old man. Where are the male why are all the male dating experts focused on women? Who is preparing men to be quality husbands? Who is holding men accountable for having kids with women they do not want to marry? And then continues to the second post.
Okay.
Sounds like more of the same to me. Honestly,
It does.
it sounds like more of the same. I feel as though, and like I put it in the group, I feel as though, as she stated, um, and as Nicole argued, that there was an experience that maybe that young lady and some other women experience. I'm not here to diminish that, right? But in the same token, I think it's irresponsible to say who's holding someone accountable for anything that's going on when you cannot take accountability for your own situations. We are responsible for the people that we allow into our lives, correct? If you allow somebody into your life, and granted, when you first meet somebody, you meet their representative, they can pretend to be somebody they aren't. I'm not saying that we all haven't been duped before, but common sense is common sense. After a while, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me, right? So at some point, you have to kind of lift your antennas and kind of be responsible for who you allow into your life. It's not always the fault of the other party, even if they are a dirty person. At some point, you have to realize there's something about you that is attracting that person, or something about you that won't let that person go.
The first part totally put into context. But what is the context that it put it into? That's what I think. That's what the disconnect is. I think with us in this here, because the context that you were saying. Go ahead, Egypt. Tell me the context. Go ahead.
Okay, what this is how I'm interpreting the context. Basically, she's saying, because okay, I'm gonna just speak from my own personal experience because
Uh-oh.
I'm a teenager who's on social media most of the
Okay.
time, and across Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, every single podcast that has two males on it and they're talking about relationships is always women aren't valuable enough for a high quality man, and that type of stuff, like that kind of stuff. And basically what she's saying is that, well, how I read it was, everybody's always talking about like why women's standards are too high and women don't deserve this or that, but nobody's ever talking about how men can improve, or nobody's ever holding a man accountable for like walking out on his family or being a cheater or being a liar. Like, it's always the woman's fault. Every time something happens, it's always, well, you should have picked better, or
I
something
think
like that.
I think that dynamic, and I think this is a conversation that any man and woman will have, and that we'll never really get to a clear understanding, right? Because as a man, I'm going to get on the defense, and as a woman, you're going to get on the defense. You can tell me that all you see on the internet is men basically saying women are the root cause of why they don't have what they want in a man, or whatever the case may be. But I've also seen, in particular, the one guy, Kevin Samuels, where he's told a woman she doesn't deserve a high quality woman, but he's also told a man that he's not a high quality man as well. So I feel like with us, right, we pick and choose, right? We can say that it's not the way that it should be, but in all honesty, we pick and choose. You'll find something to fit into your narrative, and this is what we all do. There's plenty of people out there holding men accountable in their households, in the world, on social media, but when you only want to focus on the negative, that's all you're going to see. Think about it like this: when you buy, you buy a new car, any car that you buy, you never pay attention to it, right? The minute you buy it, every time you look around, you see that car, right? It happens like that. You see what I'm saying? Anything, really, you buy anything, you think about it, every time you turn around, you kind of see that. So subconsciously, your mind is just focused on whatever it is that I guess I want to say, yeah, not necessarily looking for, but I guess the narrative that's being pushed to you, right? So I think we all are guilty of it. We all pick and choose. Like, as a man, I'm going to go on the defense if you say men tell women that they're the reason why and men are the reason why a woman is XYZ, or a woman can't XYZ, or a woman won't XYZ. I'm going to push back and say, well, there are some bad men out there, but there also are a lot of good men. And then there's also a lot of women that make bad decisions, just like there's a lot of women that make good decisions. You see what I'm saying? I'm not going to look at it from one side. Try not to, at least. But when it's focused at us, then you're going to get that pushback.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say something, Uncle Mel.
I said I was gonna be nice.
I mean, you. I'm like, I'm not all sensitive. It's like you have something to say, you can say it.
I just don't. How can we say this? I think my thing is it's like what Jay was saying. We see what it is that we want to see, and we turn a blind eye to the things that to anything outside of our scope. So like how this has started off from the part that we got. Basically, it's only talking about holding men accountable. Who's holding men accountable? Now, I don't have a problem with a conversation about men being accountable. Because guess what? I think everybody needs to be accountable for their actions or whatever they do. But in this situation, from what I'm reading, she stopped. She says she wants to stop basically coaching women because nobody's holding men accountable for all the situations that men are creating and women are staying in. Like they have no part in those situations. 90% of things that go on between a man and a woman, I mean, the situation that's created, you know what I'm saying? That's almost a 60-40, 50-50. The man doesn't create the situation and bring you into it and say, this is what you got to deal with.
In all circumstances. Sometimes that is the narrative, but not all circumstances.
Not also, okay, but everything is sometimes the narrative is the woman will bring the man in, and this is the situation. You know what I'm saying? Right. But I mean, how this came out is like men make the situation, and this is what you got to deal with, and women are dealing with it, and then there's no accountability out there. That's just not true. And how they put it out there, and then to say that the only thing that we see out front is basically everybody talking about how to improve for women. The reason that you see that online is because it's about money. Women are the ones who shop. Women are the ones who spend their money, especially for like self-help and things of that nature. Not too many men are out here trying to pay you to tell them how to get better in their life. You know what I'm saying? The social media right now is a money game. The more views you get, the more money you can make. And I'm not going to get views sitting here telling men how they can be better. Only person who was doing that, I mean, he started off that to do Derrick Jackson, who wasn't worth shit anyway. And guess what? Even while he was doing all that there, nobody ever championed the fact that he was out here telling men what they were doing wrong, telling women not what to expect from men. Nobody focused on that. The little bubble of people he had focused on it. All we ever heard was, all we do is talk about what women doing wrong. Nobody's trying to hold men accountable. And that's exactly what he was doing. In my opinion, he was a little overboard with it, but that's exactly what he was doing. But guess what? We didn't care about it until he got caught cheating on his wife. Now everybody wants to bring him to life. And now it's the fact that, and it's not even talking about the platform that he had, it's what he did wrong. So we see what we want to see. We put out what we want to put out for controversy. And I think that's all this post was. This post was another grab, you know what I'm saying, just to get people to try to, I don't want to say get angry or something, but it was just something to start a conversation, because this was not something put out to open a conversation, to open a dialogue to fix a problem. It was something put out to have a dialogue, period, just to have a dialogue
about the problem.
Yeah.
And I think that what also gets lost in these conversations is, I don't think that specifically when I was having a conversation with our group text, I don't think Nicole realized or even understood that I was agreeing with her that yes, this is a problem, but it's not she made it seem like the majority of women go through this, right? The majority of women are being run through the mud by men. And my whole thing was, yes, there are women that are going through this. I understand that. Don't want to diminish their pain. But in the same token, there are a lot of women that are happy too. And it just sounds like we only want to focus on the women that are sad and in bad situations. And the reason that they're in this bad situation is because of a man. And I don't necessarily agree with that in all cases. There are some cases, but not all cases.
I want to hear what my young people got to say about it, because
I mean, I can agree with y'all to an extent, but to reply to Jay, I feel like the only reason she was like, I guess go back and forth with you, because I read the message that you sent, right? And I'm not gonna lie, you were a bit condescending in the message. Just a
That's
tad
the way
bit.
you talk, though. Honestly,
I
she
mean,
was.
I get it, but like you were a bit condescending, like um when you were saying like I hope she heals, whatever she go through. When like the post had nothing to do with her personal experience. It was, in my opinion, I totally agree with what y'all are saying, but I just feel like when people are trying to have a conversation about a specific thing, everybody's always trying to talk about the opposite, the latter. And it's like, why not just focus on the conversation at hand? Because I don't know about her specifically, but when I have these conversations, it's not to just be like all men are bad and I hate all men, even though sometimes I feel like that, but that's a different conversation.
All men?
I just, men are weird sometimes, okay? Like
Like
they just
what?
are. They're just the weird people. They just weird sometimes. And
Is this about
as
them
a
flirting with you weird, or you just somebody like them
no,
sitting out
they
there talking
just
to
do a
themselves
lot of
weird?
things that don't make logical sense.
I disagree.
And
Whoa.
I disagree.
and I'm talking about my personal experience. A lot of men
Whoa.
or
Okay.
boys.
Okay. Well, you got to understand too. You're talking about people who have not become fully mature.
I mean, well, yeah, there are a lot of grown men that I know that don't make logical decisions.
He's not fully mature neither, and we're gonna talk about your pops on here.
Oh, I wasn't talking about. Okay, see, this is what I'm talking about, the shade. But anyways, when I have these conversations, I personally don't. I'm not just trying to like be like, oh, men are bad and men are the problem all the time. It's just like, how can I give an example? It's like if I was talking about racism, right?
Okay.
If I was talking about racism to a white person, and I'm talking about the things that Black people go through and stuff, like not all things that Black people go through, but never mind, I'm not gonna say that. But it would be like if a white person was like tried to flip the conversation, be like, well, what about what Black people do to white people? And it's like, you're not wrong. You're not wrong about
But
what you're
that's not
saying,
what we're
but
talking about now.
yeah,
Let's
that's not
fix
what we're
this
talking.
problem. And we
That's
understand
not
that.
what
We're
we're
gonna do
talking
this
about.
with your mom all the time.
Did you read the whole thread
The whole
No, she
thread.
read what her mom said to her.
between me and your mom?
She read it to me. I don't remember it like off the top of my head, but
So
I read it
typically,
to
what
you.
happens in conversations between me and your mom, we start off on target and then they go far left from what we were talking about. So initially, when she asked the question, my only response was, "I don't believe accountability is the argument that she should have." That was my initial response. That was it. And then we went back and forth and that took the topic somewhere else. But my initial argument was just that we shouldn't accountability, yes, that is a problem, but accountability to me was not the argument that should have been taken if in that argument you don't take accountability for whatever the situation is. And it doesn't necessarily have to be that lady. It could just be if she's speaking in general about women, she would obviously speak in general about the accountability of women. Like if I was to present issue that I felt that men were having with women, I would also say within this, we as men should be doing X, Y, Z. That was nowhere in that at all. It was specifically, I'm going to stop doing this because nobody else is doing this for them. So in my mind, it's like, okay, at that point, she's absolved herself of all accountability and started pointing the finger. And then, to me, that makes zero sense.
Mm.
I
Well,
think you guys do that a lot. Every time something like this shows up on the show, you guys move past it by Jay saying it happens on both sides.
yeah, that was my point. That was kind of
And
my point.
and
What? I don't understand that. Said somebody
Okay,
explain.
okay. Basically, what she's saying is like if I bring up a topic, basically it'll just get brushed off because the other side does it too. So like if I'm talking about we need to hold men accountable because men do X, Y, Z, one of y'all would probably be like, well, women do it too. And it's like, okay, yeah, but that's not what we're talking about. That's not the point of the conversation.
I
I think
agree
that's
with
what she
you.
was trying to. I think that's what she was
No, no.
trying to say.
But I agree with you on that. And I say that also. And I said that, but that happens a lot in our conversation. I'm trying to figure out if she's saying that we just did that or something. Because the thing is, what we were trying to say for this post is the issue that I had with the post before I even got through it is that all the blame from that first paragraph I read, all the blame was pushed to one gender. Period. I would have had the same problem if that was a man saying the same thing about like women and created this environment, blah, 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 and who's holding them accountable for X, Y, Z, and for that there, you know what I'm saying? And it was there was no balance to it.
Yeah, I
the
understand. I understand what
problem
you're
is the
saying.
fact that they're saying that fuck the balance, just focus on men being the issue because that's the topic.
I know, I understand what y'all are saying, but I feel like the original person presented it that way. Like y'all say, like, oh, she's not bringing up any other points. Is because in the beginning of her post, she's like, she feels like that's all anyone ever talks about is holding women accountable and what women are doing wrong, and so she's bringing up the latter. You think? Does
Okay,
that make
so I
sense?
got a question then. Before Nicole goes off on her tangent, she only got a little time. What is it? And I'm asking this of Nicole because I can't ask it of Egypt because she's too young. What environment have the men created then that is so unbearable for these women?
Is it too loud in here? Can y'all hear me? Do it sound like it's extra loud?
You got a little bit going on, but we can hear you.
Okay. So basically, just things that women go to, abusive relationships, or cheating, or gaslighting, or whatever the situation that the woman feels like, I need to get out of here. Whatever situation that she feels like it's not a healthy situation. Hey, that's what we're talking about. My whole thing with the issue is every single time I say anything about what women go through, Jay make it seem like it's personal. He try to diminish it as if it's a small amount, and no, women don't go through that. That's just you, or that's just her. When the reality of it is there are plenty of women that have issues with men, and the men are the root of it, and all we want is acknowledgement. We can't fix it. It's more than enough situations where women go through the same thing. Even in that post, every person that I showed that post and just said, hey, read this, hey, I agree, there's truth in that. But Jay went immediately to, oh, she's hurt, I hope she heals. And it's like, come on, man. It's enough women that agree with that. They either went through it or they know somebody that went through it, that it needs to be addressed.
First of
Not
all,
trying to throw men under the bus, or not saying all
But
women
first
that's
of
go
all,
through
but
that.
the thing
I
is,
know,
that's what
Jay,
it did, though.
I thought you have a wonderful. No, what she talked about is she said when she was in the clubhouse, 100% of the posts were about what women need to do to be better, what women need to do to heal so that their relationships can be better, what women need to do to make sure their men are good. Women need to be held accountable, and all the men were amen in that. That same one that the men were saying yes, 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 when she said okay, great, now let's talk about the accountability men need to do. They argued her up and down. Oh, no, 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 we don't need to do account. That's your fault. You need to make better decisions. Why did you have a baby with somebody who was a deadbeat? You knew who he was before. Why did you have unprotected sex?
Okay,
No.
but I think the issue
Kim,
that
before
I
you go,
have,
can I respond, please? Because she
if
was
you want,
talking
okay,
specifically about my response. Um, First and foremost, I like the fact that you skip over everything else that I said and point to things that you didn't agree with. I also said yes, you are correct, and I also said that my initial response was not about a man doing anything or trying to push back on it. My initial response was just that accountability wasn't the right target, right or wrong.
I think I sent it to Egypt because I can't click off, and I told Egypt you would do this.
hold
You
on,
would say,
I can
See,
get in it.
His
you
his
would
res-
say,
his response is right here.
right. So she can actually read your response. So I knew
I
you would
was
do
asking
this.
you, and that was my initial response.
No, I knew you would do this. I don't
No,
know
what
what your
you did
response
was
was verbatim.
you picked
Let's
out what
read
you
your
didn't like.
response. Let's
You
have
picked,
your response
oh my
read.
God, you picked out what
Thanks.
you did. Don't you got to go
Thanks.
sing, please?
No, it's break.
Do you want me to read it?
She picked out what she didn't like about
Oh,
it,
I'm
and
sorry.
then
I'm
told me.
loud. Y'all got me up in here hollering. Let me take one of the ears out.
Do you want me to read it?
I can read it, but I'm saying the fact of the matter is she picked out exactly what I. She picked out
Just
all the
read
parts that
it.
she
Just
didn't like.
read it. Just read it. Maybe I
I'll just
should
read
read
from
the.
one
Did
to
y'all
one.
read the? Wait, Jay, real quick. Did y'all read the actual post?
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Yes.
So they are. You already read the post.
and we actually put it on screen.
Yeah, they
Okay.
read it out of order, but they read it.
We read it in
Okay.
the order it was given to us.
Yeah, it's sent wrong, but so I sent it to Egypt in the right order, but it doesn't matter. They got the gist of it. So go ahead, Jay. Sorry. And read it just how you meant it. Don't try to be soft and act like you're reading it all understanding and not condescending. Because if you need me to read it how it needs to be read, I can do that. You know I'm good
Actually,
at that.
have we fuck it, I'll just read it. I believe the woman who wrote that is still healing and not over who did her wrong. Only hurt people paint with broad strokes, and it's okay to be hurt. I don't know her struggle, so I won't diminish that. But the accountability argument is misguided. You can't speak about someone else having accountability when all you're doing in the argument is pointing the finger at everyone else's problem, everyone else for your problems or struggle. At not one point did she state the woman also have a hand in the unhealthy dynamic between a man and a woman, or the healthy dynamic of a male/female relationship. It was we're only this way because you men made us this way. Are there trash men? Yes. Are there plenty of I'm sorry, yes there are, but there are plenty excuse me, sorry. Are there trash men? Yes. There are plenty, but are men at the root of every problem women face? I don't think so. It's short-sighted and coming from a hurt place. I wish that sister all the healing energy she needs to move past this phase of her life.
That was the condescending part I was talking about.
How is it condescending to
let me tell you why.
from a man?
Let me tell you why
The
it
thing
was
about it is you
condescending.
don't like the response because it's coming from me. If
I'm
it
gonna
was
tell
a
you why
woman
it was
saying that, it
condescending.
wouldn't be an issue.
This is why it was condescending, because if you paid attention to her post, at the end you said, I wish that sister all the healing energy she needs to move past. Or you said, in the beginning, you said, you believe whoever wrote that is still healing and not over whoever did her wrong. Not anywhere in her Facebook post did she say anything about her personal experiences with a man.
Do we use context clues though? Like, come on, like that's
no.
Let's not do that.
No. This is not. We're not analyzing the Constitution.
We're
reading a Facebook post.
We just supposed to take everything.
Hold on. Okay, this is the only thing I got to say about that now. Because like I say, I'm gonna put Nicole so she can interrupt me all she wants to. But what we are not going to do here is we're not going to allow one person to be able to do that now. Because guess what? Your mother, our other co-host, that's her defense for everything. If we say that wasn't in the reading, I can decipher what it was. You can tell by how it was written that this was said. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't believe it was about the woman.
That's right, but that's obvious.
Man, for using context clues.
Come on, Mel, but still, that's obvious. It don't take a rocket science that she's speaking about. She did not once say men are this, men are that. She talked about her experience in Clubhouse and when what was going on and what the experts was talking about and how the men were responding and the women. Then she talked about why she stopped, for lack of a better term, counseling women and trying to help them heal and stuff like that, because based off of what they were going through with me. And that's why she said, girl, go get your bag. I'm tired of trying to help y'all heal or trying to help y'all talk about what y'all need to do to heal, what y'all need to do to make relationships better, because that's what we're doing. And that's what she said, I had to stop doing that because I'm realizing if I'm teaching y'all how to do this and the men are not protecting y'all vulnerability or anything, why am I doing this? I'm doing it for naught. Who's holding the men accountable? If we're holding all the women accountable, the men have to do their part. So it wasn't about.
Guess what? And the thing is, I agree with that. I just don't agree with how it was put out. And the thing is, maybe if we had got it with some other context about her already with these same guys, and she teaching these, talking to them about how women need to do better, blah 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 blah, and we can see, oh yeah, these same people are in there saying yes, 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 and then when she turn around and say, okay, now, and what you guys need to do also is this, and then they turn around that. I don't get that. Go ahead, EJ.
But that's exactly what she said, though.
No.
Right.
Slow down. Exactly what she said was.
Well, not
you're right. No, because you're gonna do that. You said that's exactly what she said. Exactly what she said was she was in a Facebook group talking to you, and she said the experts
Clubhouse
started talking to men. Yeah, in a Clubhouse group, when the experts started talking to some of them men, those same men didn't agree with her.
That's not what she said. That's not what she said. What she said was when she 100% was about women and accountability and blah blah blah, and the men was amen, and it was a bunch of bitter men and a bunch of vulnerable women, right? Vulnerable women. And then when those same experts talked about men, the engagement, those men were not even engagement, and the few that engaged would argue her back and forth. So that's what she said. So it wasn't even that much engagement again. So, but when it was talking about women, all the men were engaging and want to talk about women. But when it's talking about men, they didn't even want to hear it. A lot of them wouldn't even join to talk about what they needed to fix. And the men that did join wanted to argue.
Quinn said, Yvette, it's too much like right for males to acknowledge and accept that they do that they
Be
do be
wrong.
wrong.
I mean, I gotta agree. All women want is acknowledgement. We're not saying all men are like that. There's trash men, there's trash women. But right now we're talking about how can we heal. So if we only train in women, just like when girls are being raised to be mothers and wives, and this is what you from kids, but men are not raised how to be a husband. We always taught how to cook, how to clean, how to cater to our men, but they're not teaching men how to treat their wives.
Yeah,
All
they
they
got.
teach,
True.
no, all they teach
That's
them
not
is
true.
go to work. That's it, go to work.
That's not true.
I
It's
mean,
not
yeah, it's
all.
not true because I teach my man. Listen, Jay. I'm not saying your mama did that or your
I'm not
mama and
even
daddy,
talking about me and my situation,
but
but what
this
I'm
is
saying is
general.
that's no, because you just no, you just said women, all women are raised to be a wife.
But
That's
you
what
know
you
we're.
said.
Come
You
on. So now
you
you're gonna try
just
to
said
act
no,
like
no, no,
women.
no, 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 no,
You're
no,
gonna
no.
try to
Let me
act like women
speak.
are not
Let me
doing that.
speak. You
That's a
hell
question.
no. Hell no. Nobody is raised. You saying women are being raised to be wives and men, nobody's
Have you
raised
not been
to
watching
be
Instagram
husbands.
and TikTok lately? That's what wives being raised to.
Come on now. Like, we're not gonna turn the blind eye to all the silliness that's
I'm
going on.
sorry. I'm sorry,
Men
y'all. I
are
gotta
being
go.
there are men being raised
I,
to be
I,
husbands. Like,
but
to say that there's nobody
I
holding
gotta
them
go.
accountable for being trash people or whatever the case may be is bullshit. That's not true. That's the fact. And just like I said earlier, all you're gonna do is point to the shit that supports your narrative because you're trying to push a point. Clearly, in that every woman on here is disregarding the fact that I said, yes, there are bad men out there. Yes, there are men that are at the root of some of this shit, but not all. Nobody's
Well,
acknowledging that at
well,
all.
because what you have to realize is they don't want you to talk about the good shit. They want you to address right what they talking about with the bad shit. We
But
got to
in
stay on
addressing
topic.
what they're saying, because listen to
We
this. If
got to
I
stay on
say,
topic. See, the topic is about the bad shit. So if you try to say anything good, then you off topic.
so
You
here's
got
the
to
thing
stay
though.
on
If
these
I
no
say,
good niggas that they talking about. That's all we should be.
but
Even
here's
though,
the
guess
thing though,
what?
if the
I ain't a no
topic
good
is
nigga.
Really, Uncle
holding men
Mill?
accountable, right? If the
You think I'm a
topic
no
is
good nigga?
I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying. I don't get it. I just don't
See, okay,
get
what I'm
it.
trying to say is
I
just
just
like
don't
this
get.
here.
No, I get. No, I get what you're saying. I'm saying like I just don't get it. Like it's just an expression of. It's just my how I express myself. I just don't get it. Like we're not because you're making it seem like um bad men are all women ever talk about. Period.
It
Ever,
is.
ever, ever.
it
No,
is.
no, it's not.
No,
You. But see. But listen,
this
listen,
There's
listen,
show
listen.
literally a
Let me
it
talk.
comment.
is.
Let me
Hold on.
talk. Let me
There's
talk. Let me
literally
talk.
before you
Let
go
me
there.
talk.
I'm gonna shut
You.
up.
No.
I just
You
want to show
see
you
how
before you
y'all
go
just
there.
made that generalization, but when
Because
my
I'm finna
mama
show
made
you
a
before I go there.
generalization,
Hold on. It's a comment right
oh,
here. I just want you to see this. I'm gonna shut up. There's
what is that?
literally a comment that just said men in general, you make it all men, we won't accept when we're wrong. Exactly.
Okay, but what I'm saying is she's one person. She's one person. What I'm saying is that there are I'm not saying that all men are bad, all women are good. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying and I'm not saying that that's all um faults of women are all anybody ever in history of anything ever talk about. What the post was specifically saying was, can y'all hear me? Okay. What the post was specifically saying is that when she was in Clubhouse, all she ever seen was experts talking about what women need to fix, what women need to do to heal, to make their relationships better, right? And everybody was agreeing with the experts saying, wow, this is inspirational. As soon as the experts start talking about men, nobody wanted to engage, and anybody who did engage were arguing. And the point is that why do people act like that? Why can't we just have a conversation about this? Like, not saying that we're never going to have another conversation about good men, but why, when I'm talking about the specific bad things that men do to women, why can't we just have that conversation? You can go ahead.
Okay, I think what we're overlooking in this whole situation, because see what the post is making it seem like is so when we're talking about what women need to do wrong, 100% of everybody was on my team. And because you're talking to 100% of men about what they think women can do better in a relationship with a man. Guess what? I guarantee you she would have got that same blowback if she was talking to a group of women, talking about what they could do better in their relationships. She switched right from that. That's just like when we're on here and we try to talk about what women or something like that, all we get is the blowback in the comments about no, sis this, sis that, y'all didn't pay attention here, men don't do this here. Guess what? 90% of what we got in the comments is women. So everything me and Jay say is blowback against it. I guarantee you, if we had 90% men in here, everything me and Jay be saying over here, they be right on our team with it. You have to realize when somebody attacks you, you go right on the defensive. And that's what happened in her post. She had a bunch of men where she was talking to them from being their friend. She was on their side at the beginning, talking about, hey, what your lady needs to do to get better. Guess what? Yeah, of course the man was in there like, oh yeah, you right. That's right. This needs to happen. But then when she turned it and said, okay, now look, guess what? But y'all need to do this here and y'all need to do this here. Now it pricked their heart. And I'm not saying she wasn't truthful. She probably would spit a lot of truth to their ass. That's why she started getting that blowback and things like that. But you're talking to a room full of men. Take that same conversation, take them same numbers, and talk to a group full of women, and then come back to me and tell me this.
And I also
then come back to tell me this.
I think it's dismissive when you say you're not staying on topic. If the topic is to say men, who's holding men accountable, right? And I say there are a lot of people holding men accountable because there are a lot of men being great husbands, great fathers. It's gonna go back to me saying, me basically going to the flip side of it, right? It's because it's not a what?
Read that comment.
No, not necessarily, but you guys are only seeing it one way. And tonight you guys said you would look at it from one of
from what I just said was gonna happen. Everything that me and Jay say when we come up, what we get?
Blowback.
Okay, Jay, can I respond to you, please?
I didn't finish my thought, but go ahead.
Oh, you didn't finish? You can finish.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Okay, you said you felt like it was dismissive, and okay, I don't know if I can agree with that. This is what I see as dismissive, and I'm gonna just give you an example. Y'all know what the Me Too movement is, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if I got on here talking about the Me Too movement and how, like, y'all know what that is about, so I don't have to really go into detail. In my opinion, what would be dismissive is if a man came on here and saying like, well, what about what men go through? Men go through it too. Nobody's saying in either situation, nobody's saying that all men are abusers, all men are cheaters, all men are liars. Nobody's saying that. All we're saying is like when I'm talking about something and you bring up the latter, it makes me feel like shut up because other people go through it too. So we don't even need to have this discussion right now because they go through it too.
I got a question. Did you say nobody was saying that men are cheaters and liars?
No, I'm saying nobody's saying that all men are like that. We're just talking about this conversation. Like obviously all men are not like that. No man is born to be a bad person. People just make bad decisions. And some people are just kind of bad people, but they're not all men are like that. That's common sense. That's logical common sense. But if I'm specifically talking about something and your only argument or your only like adding to the conversation, well, men get cheated on too, men get abused too. You're not wrong. You are absolutely 100% correct.
But it has nothing to do with what you're talking about.
It has nothing to do with what I'm talking about, and it just makes me feel like I should just shut up. Like if I'm talking about like black men getting killed by police, and you say, well, Hispanics get killed by police, duh. But that's not what I'm talking about.
I agree.
Not what I'm talking about. And what I also wanted to say was that again, you said that you don't like how she presented the post. I do agree that she could have presented the post better. She definitely could have presented the post better. So like, it doesn't feel like it's just one-sided. But when I feel like she just made the post because she presented it that way because she was already talking about how like, that's all they ever talk about in their clubhouse discussions. And she just feels like nobody's holding people accountable for this. So I feel like that's why she didn't bring up the ladder because the ladder was already mentioned. So
well, let me ask you this.
Making sense.
Let me ask you this: if we're having a conversation about holding men accountable, and you tell me nobody holds men accountable, right? And I tell you I don't agree with that, and then I go on to point out examples of men being held accountable. Not speaking to the men that aren't, but only speaking to the ones that are, because you said that there aren't any, right? Is that me speaking on the subject?
It is you speaking on the subject, but that doesn't find a solution to what we're talking about. Like obviously,
that's the exact solution because you're saying there aren't any men being held accountable, and I'm telling you there are. I don't know if you want me to just say yes, there are no men being held accountable. What are we going to do?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
We're going to put a group together and have men rally, and we're going to do whatever it is. Like, to me, it does not make sense in my mind logically. If you tell me something is not happening and I can present you with an argument to say that it is, how am I off subject?
Okay, this is how I see it, because I feel like everybody's so stuck on people speaking in general. People just tend to speak in general. That's just how we tend to speak.
Okay.
So if I'm saying nobody's holding men accountable, yes, there are people holding men accountable somewhere on the internet, somewhere in their household, somewhere. But the point is, it's not as publicized as it is.
That's the problem. Now, if
That's the
that is
problem.
the
It's
conversation, then we have something else to talk about. But you can't say men aren't being held accountable. And then when I say we are, you tell me I'm off subject, when the real issue is that it's not being publicized. Those are two totally different conversations.
And also, what you have to realize, in order to elicit a response from people, you have
semantics.
to understand that
Well,
people
that's not
are.
semantics.
It's
Those
not.
are two
Just
totally
realize
different.
people are kind of are sensitive, and once a person feels attacked, that derails the conversation. And to tell a person that, oh, you're not staying on topic, or to quote your mom, we're not talking about y'all. You know what I'm saying? So the thing about it is, what a lot of people fail to realize is, you can't talk to a person who are doing the things that you say people don't do and expect them not to get defensive about it or to fight you on that topic. Because guess what? That is dismissive to say, oh, we're not talking about you, but there are men out here that are not doing it or that are doing X, Y, and Z. You don't fit in that category, then also I don't count as what you're saying. You want me to fight a battle that I know nothing about.
Did he freeze? Oh no, he
Nope.
didn't. Okay, I don't. I get what you're saying, but
So Jay, you only infer when you want to.
I'm sorry, Tammy. I don't want to sound rude, but I stopped reading your comments like 5 or 6 comments ago.
Where she said that she's usually on our side, but not tonight.
Yeah, I stopped reading that conversation. Because to me, honestly, it just sounds like nobody's, and it could be me too, right? But I don't feel like there's really any listening to, I guess, understand either side, right? It's to just push my narrative, and it's both of us. I feel like that.
I'm
Both
listening.
sides.
At least I think I'm listening.
I felt like I was too, but I don't think that, like I said at the beginning, I feel like there's going to always be a disconnect between the two, because in my mind, logically, if you present me with an argument and I give you evidence to support my difference of opinion, then I'm staying on target. But then you move the goalpost and say that, yeah, some men are being held accountable, but it's just not being publicized. So we want to see more of that on social media. Like, those are two separate ideas, and I don't think that they uh, run parallel. You know what I mean? So in my
But you didn't
mind,
understand where Egypt was coming from.
I don't understand where you coming from, Tammy, right now. I really don't. I don't. And I'm not trying to be mean or rude, but I don't understand.
You're not doing a good job then.
I'm not trying to be mean. I just don't understand that, because it doesn't sound like she's really listening to me. It just sounds like she's responding. So I don't know. I don't really know like what she's even responding to and what I'm saying. So like, well, I'm legit like not understanding what her comments are, because I don't know what she's responding to.
The answer to Shaka's question, she said, we know there's a problem, so how we fix it. The fix it is to actually listen to each other when we talk, and to try to do it. And it's hard to do it and not become defensive or not become sensitive, because we tend to speak in generals. You know what I'm saying? In generality. So when you do that, you automatically throw the other person on defense, because you don't acknowledge. That's like okay, if you're in a relationship and you go in the house on Monday and like you wash the dishes. You know what I'm saying? You hardly ever wash the dishes. But say you wash the dishes on Monday. Tuesday, Wednesday, you don't wash the dishes. Thursday, you go in there and it's like, man, your lady come and say, man, you don't never help around the house. You don't never wash the dishes. I'm like, I just wash the dishes on Monday. But that ain't today. Like, you're going to diminish the times that I do what I do. You know what I'm saying? So now I'm offended. Now I'm trying, you know what I'm saying, to fight you on whatever you said. Because guess what? You're telling me what I do when you're not upset or when you're not in your feelings about this don't matter. You know what I'm saying? It's right now, and it's however you interpret whatever's going on, regardless of however I act. It's your interpretation of what it is. And that's how people kind of react to certain things.
I feel you. I just
She's listening. It's just hard to type and respond because you guys are talking.
What she's saying is that she like the messages aren't going out as we're talking about it, so we end up talking about moving the conversation forward, and then her comments end up not making sense.
Chuck, it don't matter how you say it if you're diminishing what a person does. You can say it as sweet as you want to, but when you diminish something that a person does by basically saying that they never do it, it don't matter how sweet you say it.
Can I respond to something you said before?
Sure.
Um, I think it was you said that like people feel attacked when you speak in generals and stuff, and I used to be like that. I used to be so offended when people would talk in generals. Like, I'll give you an example. Like, I'm a Leo, right? So when people speak general and be like, oh, Leos are attention hogs and they just want on the spotlight and they're so self-absorbed. I used to be so offended because I'm like, I'm not like that. I would never be like that. I stay to myself all the time. But when you realize, what am I even being defensive for? I know I'm not like that. So I've learned to remove myself from the general, if that makes sense. Like, I'm able to have conversations about things without feeling attacked because I know that's not me. So when people are talking about Leos and how some Leos can be self-absorbed, I know I'm not self-absorbed. So I'm able to have conversations with them about that. I know what you're gonna say. Don't even say it.
Go ahead. Say what I'm gonna say.
You're probably gonna be like, oh, you're probably gonna say something shady right now.
No.
But
What I was going to say was when you're not when you carry the attitude that I know you're not talking about me, is when you become dismissive about it. And then you start changing the goalpost. It's like, oh well, I'm not like that. If that's like the same thing we're saying about me. And so like if I come to you and be like, man, we got a problem with these Leos out here. I don't know what they're doing. They eating up all the food. We can't stop them from eating it. You go back, I ain't like that. So it doesn't add to the conversation. You know what I'm saying? What you're going to do is basically change the goalpost now. Men are held accountable in every situation possible. If a man leaves their family, they get put on child support. If a man cheats, everyone would know. In this world, men have to have a job that make 100,000, nice house, and overall have their shit together. If not, men are considered lower level or not a real man.
Is that personal? Because I know a lot of people who are on child support and don't even pay it. There's a lot of people who don't even spend time with their kids. Like, was that a personal like little thing that's him?
I don't think so because I know he's not on child support.
Well, I don't understand that one because I know a couple people who are on child support and the mothers have not seen a
I think what he
dime.
was trying to say is there are things set up to try to make men accountable for certain situations, even though in this here it's not directly on task about what we're talking about. I think the accountability they're talking about is like,
yeah, it's a different kind.
It's emotional accountability or some craziness like that or whatever.
But what I was gonna say was, again, I agree with what you're saying, but there's also another side to that, about the removing yourself from the general part of it. And again, I'm gonna bring up the Me Too movement because it just makes so much sense, right? So remember when I brought it up and I was like, some men will be like, well, what about men? Men go through it too. When women are talking about how men can be creepy, men can do this type of stuff, I've known a lot of men who know they're not like that kind of like predatory, creepy person. So instead of being defensive, they're able to sympathize. Does that make sense?
I understand that.
So yeah, that's kind of what I meant. I didn't mean it like, oh, I don't go through that, so like whatever, or I'm not like that, so it must not matter. I mean like the type of people who like understand that they don't act that way or they don't hold those characteristics about themselves, so they're able to put themselves in the shoes of the other person and sympathize with them and be like, okay, I can see where you're coming from because there are people who act like that and we should talk about it. You feel me? They don't always have to be defensive.
But the thing is, guess what? In that same sense of what you just said, Jay said that about this topic. And he'd been beat up in the comments all day. He said, you know what I'm saying? I do understand that there are men like that. I do understand. He said, not all men are like that, but I do understand there are some men like that there. It's just the fact I don't feel that everyone's being held accountable in this situation. He sympathized with it.
I mean,
but since he didn't just come out and say, I agree. See, the thing is, most of the time what the accuser doesn't want is the mirror to be shined back. Mm-hmm. All they want you to do is agree with them, say, I agree with you, I understand where you're coming from, and that's it. The fix has to be nothing shine back on them. The fix has to be, I have to take on all of the problem. I have to take on all of the weight to fix it, because guess what? There's no accountability on the accuser's end. That's usually what happens in the conversation. If I'm the person who is crying for help, if I'm the person who is saying I'm being beat down or these things are happening to me, I don't want you to shine the light back on me now. I don't want you to put the mirror up to me to see what my part in it is. Most people, and that's not all, most people don't want to see what their wrong is in the situation. And that's when you come and say, we wasn't talking about that. What we were saying was this. You understand? That's when it gets to that. Now, there are a lot of times when sometimes maybe we just need to be quiet. Let a person vent. Okay, whatever. Keep on moving, especially if I know it's not about me. But when you're trying to help a person, when you're literally trying to come up with a solution, that's it. The mirror has to be shined. Yes. In the same topic. Yes, men need to be held accountable. But I'm saying the way it came out, it should have came out as, if this, to me, this should have been a thing about fixing relationships and fixing situations that partners are in. And you can't do that by saying, well, who's holding you accountable? I'm going to stop helping women get their self right because nobody's holding the man accountable. So women, don't get yourself right. Don't worry about it. Just let it be.
No, at the
These
end,
niggas trash anyway.
At the end, she did say, like, you know, like, whatever she said at the end about making money and whatever.
She said, go ahead, do
are...
you, baby. She said, do you, baby. Forget about these men, do your stuff. And if
No,
a man comes along, she said, if a man comes along where he's already taken care of, he's already got everything he needs, he's already ahead in life, then get with him and be his partner. That's what she said.
Not verbatim, but I get it. I get it. I guess we just interpret things differently because, you know, slang, I am younger than you guys. So, yeah, we do interpret things different. I'm not saying y'all said anything wrong.
Next week, we got to talk about healthy relationships with great communication. Y'all focus on too many topics about city boys and girls. That's all it is in the city. Yeah. You from the west side, you know.
Ooh, shade.
It's hard to talk about a healthy relationship.
Wait, what? I honestly, if it's not clear, I am extremely annoyed. Because to say that we need to expand our circles, first and foremost, what does that mean? What does that mean? Like, you tell people to surround themselves with like-minded people, right? And if we are surrounded by people who are doing the things that society would hold to high esteem, and every conversation that we have is about people that are way below that, where am I expanding my circle to?
She said she was commenting on Tasha's comment.
Oh, okay. But even still, in that situation, like, what we doing?
We trying to help the community grow.
Are they trying to say they want to hear more positive stuff? You guys always talk about negative stuff?
I never talk about anything negative.
I don't tune in, so I'm sorry.
Thanks for the support. We appreciate it.
You say that
on I didn't mean it like that.
Yes,
of course, I didn't mean it like that. It's not shade. Of course, I be hearing like y'all talk about it, but like
y'all, you know what I'm saying? So
you know, homework. You know, got my own
homework
life.
This late. You got homework at 9:00 at night.
Yes.
What you be doing the rest of the day?
I take naps. Yeah, I'm very nap oriented kind of girl.
Anything not to watch y'all shit is basically what she's saying.
Oh my goodness, no! Y'all just don't get it. It's a lot.
I don't get it.
It started a long time ago. Where I just couldn't sleep at night, and then you got to get up early. Then you get home. I bet you watch that
knockout podcast, so don't you?
What knockout? Ooh, you are so shady. But the thing is, no, I don't. See, I don't watch either one.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
That's so crazy.
Did we just get him a title? Did we just name their podcast?
Y'all need to stop.
We'll have to run that back Nicole, see if she like that.
Oh my god. Y'all are just too shady. It's just y'all are too old to be this shady.
As dark as I am, I ain't nothing but shade. See? That's a negative Nelson. Who's negative?
You.
I'm not negative at all. I'm very positive.
That was the shadiest comment you've said all night.
What was shady about?
The first one was
Knock
a little
off
tough
podcast.
too. That
What
first
was
one.
shady about it?
That was shady.
What was shady about it?
Because
It was a truthful statement.
hey, I don't think so.
Really?
Okay, I know why y'all would think that way, but the podcasts are two totally separate. Like y'all are on two totally different wavelengths.
How you know?
Honestly,
You don't watch neither one.
honestly, but so obviously I know what he be talking about. I know what he be talking about, and
How do you know if you
I
don't
was
watch it?
because I was on the podcast before. I was on the podcast before.
Oh,
I
so
was
you
there
was
when
on
we-
that one.
Yeah.
You went and got on the knockoff one, but you were over here sleeping.
Am
and
I
got
not
your
on
homework
this
going
one right now? I'm doing the whole episode
You did the knockout first.
because that's when I was living there, and he just was like, "Hey, everybody do a podcast," and he talks about a whole bunch of other stuff. He talks about, his interest and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
What's the setup?
the setup. I think he just bought a. What do you mean setup? What do you mean? Like
Well, who are the
Yeah.
on
hosts?
here? He uses an app.
No.
No. Who are the hosts? How many people on the podcast?
Just
Regular.
one, I think. I think
Just one.
it's just
How
one.
did it start
Yeah.
off?
It was supposed to be. Oh no. Okay. See, I know what y'all are thinking. Okay, so
We ain't gonna
that
even go
is
there. We're
two.
gonna leave it alone. Sheree, how we doing, babe? I ain't seen you in forever.
Oh my goodness, shade.
So, Tasha wanted us to talk about some healthy relationships next week. But I mean, what are we gonna talk about with healthy relationships?
You're just gonna talk about. I mean, it's
I'm single. I can't tell y'all about no healthy relationship.
but healthy relationships are just common sense. I personally feel like adults. I know y'all gonna be like, "Oh, you're just a kid. You think everything's so easy."
No, I want to hear this.
But I personally think that a lot of adults make things way more complicated than they need to be. I
agree.
I feel like that because when I'm like reading stuff about like people having like relationships so complicated, the number one thing that the problem is that y'all are not listening to each other. Y'all don't listen. Everything you hear, you take that and you have to be defensive about it instead of just listening. Like if your spouse has needs, instead of just being like, okay, we can make a compromise. It's always, well, what about what I need? Or something like that. It's like, why is it so complicated? Or like cheaters, right? Cheaters would try to go all up around and down the world to explain why cheating is okay and why it wasn't wrong when they could just be honest from the beginning and be like, I want an open relationship, or I don't think that being monogamous is natural for humans. You see how nobody would get hurt in that situation if you just be honest from the beginning?
Somebody will get hurt in that situation.
I think the biggest thing is, and it's not just adults, even at your age now, like you're coming into your own, right? So you're starting to see it now, even with the young guys that you deal with now. There's a communication barrier between male and female that will never be broken. Honestly, there are certain things that make logical sense to us that'll never make logical sense to you guys, and vice versa. So
No,
like that dynamic.
There are things that make logical sense to us that won't make logical sense to them, and there are things that make emotional sense to women that don't make sense to us.
And that's the thing. Not all women think emotionally.
That's true, and not all men think logically. They don't. You have some men who are very emotionally driven.
Yeah, you like do. Me, I think very logically. So when I say that, people will be like, "Oh, you're just a kid that just thinks they know everything," and it's like, no, logically, it just makes sense to just listen.
But see, when you realize the fact that you think logically as a female, we have to come to the fact that you have to also realize that you are 1 in 100 or something. And what the issue is, everybody thinks they think like so. Some women won't get the fact that they understand that they act emotionally. They think and they act emotionally, but they don't care that they think and they act emotionally. And your logic doesn't matter in this situation because 90% of the time it's about, because we are taught that the man is just supposed to provide for the woman and he's supposed to make the woman feel a certain way. So she doesn't care about the logic of the situation. It is what she wants and why aren't you providing what it is that I want?
Yeah. But I'm gonna be one of them people. There's a flip side because there's
true. Like there is. You'll never get me to argue and say that there's not a flip side. I've seen it. I've been around all types. I've been to some men. I'm like, what the hell is wrong with you? It's your dyke ass. But it happens.
You can't say that word, cuz.
But I wasn't talking about a woman. I was talking about a man.
That
you still can't say
okay,
that,
but that would be like if you called the white person an N-word. It's still offensive.
If I call a white person a nigga, it's offensive.
No, like with the ER.
But what if I call him a nigga?
Then I would just be looking at you like you're crazy. Because why would you do that?
All right, I got it. You know what I'm saying? Men think we just not mind readers. We are wired simple. Women are wired complex. I think it's only complex to men. I think the thing about women is they just trying to figure out how to get what they want, whatever way. And it like I said, it's emotionally driven. It don't matter is it logical or not. It's just the fact to get to what they want at the end of the day.
Men, women, you said.
Women.
I think that's a human. I think that's human nature. I don't think that's specific to any gender, right? We all
Right.
want,
I'm talking about how they get to that. So women would think emotionally, and no matter what it is on that emotion, they still gonna act on it to get there. A man's still trying to get what he wants to, which is usually some ass, and he's just trying to figure out a logical way to get there. So that's the reason, Egypt, that they won't tell you in the beginning that they want an open relationship, because they knew women are, they think with their heart. So if I come and tell you that I want you to share me with somebody else, you ain't going for it. You out of there. Forget it. So in his head, I'm gonna lie to her.
And that's the problem. People are always looking for what they want in the wrong places.
But
In
most
my
of the
opinion,
time, women want the lie. They know you ain't. They know you. They're not the only one. They just want you to tell them that.
I don't know. I've had a lot of conversations in my day, so I just don't laugh.
It's sad that you don't see nothing wrong with that. With what, Tasha?
I just feel like a lot of people are looking for what they want in the wrong places. Like, how can I put this? Like a man who wants a woman who likes to stay home, right? He likes a woman who likes to stay home and cook and clean, right? But then, like, so why are you going after women who are who have jobs, or like they like working, or they like providing for themselves, or they like going out to parties?
I'm totally on your team with that. He's fishing in the wrong pool.
Right. I feel like that's the problem, because there are a lot of women, like I know a lot of people don't do online dating or stuff like that, but there are a lot of women who are open to being in open relationships. They're totally fine with that.
You actually think I don't think there's something wrong with that, Tasha? I didn't say that there's something that was right. I didn't say I ain't seen nothing wrong. I'm saying that's why it happened. You know, I ain't like that shit. I ain't telling you. I ain't starting nothing off with a lie.
boy, your ass sometimes be honest to a fault.
Yeah, I'm not starting none of this off with a lie. This is what it's going to be. It's what it's going to be. I'm just giving my niece an example of why people don't come out and say what it is they want in the beginning, because they know that if they told the truth, that they weren't going to get to it. 90% of the time, even when the women who say that they down for it, that 90% of the time they ain't going, just because he was that honest. They'll tell you they appreciate you being honest. Well, I appreciate your honesty, and then they ain't gonna deal with the guy. So most of the time,
like that's better than wasting your time.
If it's just not spoken, they'll deal with it. But if most of the time he come out and say it, they ain't dealing with him, because they offended that. You know what I'm saying? Because they're not enough for him. You got to be secure in yourself to not care enough. Like, okay, I'm cool with it. If you don't want to deal with me, you don't want to deal with me. I'm good. But this is what it is. This is what I'm offering. So some of them will still give it up, but I mean, most of the time they're giving it up with the lying by omission. The ones who giving it up with you being honest is the one, because you don't get me wrong, that we have new age women. A lot of that, not every woman is out here looking for a relationship. So let's not act like that. You got a lot of these women now who just trying to get up in there, get their little bit, and get on gone. Get what they can get out of you and go. Now those are the ones there, yes. They happy to hear you say that. But that's not all.
So the moral of the story is we don't listen to each other, and we'll never come to a solution. That's really what it boils down to.
Here.
Basically, in all aspects of everything, we just don't listen.
Men don't listen to women. Women surely don't listen to men. We like the peanuts. So what is that? Like wah 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 wah.
Just people are just too defensive. That's the problem, in my opinion.
Yeah, I feel like when you speak to something, like Lavelle said, if you're speaking to something and you're saying it's not being done, but you're speaking to somebody who's doing it, yeah, you're gonna keep running into that brick wall. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's just a matter of both parties pushing a narrative and nobody really listening to understand or really explain. It's really just you gonna hit me. You know what I mean? It's not even so much of an explanation. It's just that I feel as though what I'm saying is correct. You feel as though what you're saying is correct, and we just gonna keep doing this.
I don't really know if it's a willing to compromise, Tasha, on certain things. I think it's an understanding thing. And I think that goes back to the way that we're wired. Women are more emotional, men are more logical when they think. And I just don't think a lot of times I don't think we're listening enough to understand what the person is saying. I think we take parts of the conversation out so we can combat that. And as soon as we hear something in it that we don't agree with, we stop listening there. And we're so ready to respond to that, we don't pay attention to the rest of what's being said. So we don't know that they're actually on our team. It was just, but then they're trying to offer a solution in the middle. It's like, okay, I heard you say this one thing. Now I didn't shut off everything else because I'm just waiting to respond to that one thing. So I don't think we fully listen.
That's clearly what happened because you and I multiple times have said specifically back to the topic that I agree that there are men that need to be held accountable, but that was glazed over and focused on everything else that I said. So
yeah.
So the gist of y'all's argument was like y'all agree, but y'all just don't like how the post was presented because it felt like she wasn't given a perspective from both sides.
No, I felt as though that one, accountability was the wrong approach for that argument. And two, I don't feel as though I veered off because I spoke to when a person says something not being done, I gave an example of it being done. So in my mind, logically, that's me staying on topic. I guess I misunderstood the assignment because that's really not what we were talking about.
Right. I was just saying the accountability thing. I think my thing is you can't point a finger to say you're not being accountable. You need to be held accountable. Y'all need to be held accountable, but then dismissing the other side from accountability. That's what I was saying, and how it was presented.
That's actually, you know what though? Thinking about it, light bulb. This is actually the disconnect because I don't want to generalize all women, but I would say from the women that are in this thread, Nicole and Egypt, their thought process is don't worry about us being held accountable. We got that taken care of. She spoke on that already. We only focusing on y'all being accountable. And in our minds, it's like, nah, you talked about how you were helping women and you like fuck them now because you feel as though men not being held accountable. So in our mind, it's like you've absolved yourself of all accountability in this. So how can you talk to me about accountability? That's the difference. And that's why there's a disconnect. And I don't think we'll ever get to that point because in my mind, it's dumb to have a conversation about accountability if I don't say I fucked XYZ up. And in your mind, it's like I talked about what I fucked up already. Let's really talk about you now. You see what I'm saying? And I think that's the disconnect.
Mm-hmm. There we go.
So can I ask you guys a question?
You can ask anything you like.
Okay, so do you guys think that men are better equipped to lead?
No, I mean, honestly, I feel like when you say something like that, putting a gender role on something is not. I don't think that's a fix all, right? I don't think that you can say all men are better fit to be leaders over women. In some cases, yes. In some cases, no. I think it's really a situational thing, or maybe even circumstantial. You know what I mean? Like it just depends on what the matter calls for. I don't think that there's a one size fits all solution to that. I don't believe that all men are better leaders than women, and I don't believe that all women are better leaders than men. I just think it may be in certain situations. Yes, a woman may be a better leader than a man. In certain situations, a man may be a better leader than a woman.
I think the answer to your question is yes.
So you think so? Okay, Jay, I agree with you. Thank you so much for being an informed, great person.
But that wasn't your question. Your question Your question was, do I think men are better equipped to lead? It didn't say, do I think they make better leaders, or do I think all men are better leaders?
You're right. So you think that men are better equipped to be leaders?
Yes.
Okay, follow-up question. What examples or like what says that like what makes you think that men are better equipped to be leaders without like using the Bible?
Because women think
Definitely
emotion.
ain't gonna use the Bible.
Because women make decisions. Women make decisions off emotional responses. Men make decisions off logical thought.
But
That
see,
is
we
a
can't
very
use that.
general.
Right? Yeah, that's
That's very
why
general.
we'll go
But it
back.
was a
Not
general question.
True.
yeah, okay.
True.
I'll give you that one. I'll give you that one. Okay.
But even in that, though, I would say that even with it being a general question, we still have to speak in circumstances, right? Because not all men are logical and not all women are emotional. You know what I mean? So I
Not
think
all men are logical, not all men are emotional, but scientifically stated that women, the part of your brain that houses emotion is bigger in women. They take in more emotion than men do. Well, that's why I say that women think more emotionally than men.
Do you guys
Prefrontal
consider
cortex.
anger an emotion?
yes,
Yes, it is an emotion.
Okay. So do you guys think that men make a lot of decisions based on anger?
Nope.
I think it's circumstantial. Honestly, I feel like it's circumstantial. I think some men do, some men don't. I don't. Like I said, I don't think there's a one size fits all to that question.
I think in that answer, I think both sides make decisions based off of anger a lot. But I think the issue is a man's anger rises and falls quickly. Women hold on to anger for a much longer time. So like a woman will get mad at you on Thursday and still be mad at you on January 18th, or not mad, but she'll still be trying to get back at you for that. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
They're more because my mom was making
Vindictive.
vindictive, right? So that once they get like, they might not stay mad at you, but guess what? They're always trying to get back for that
I
and
can
hold
say
on to it.
specifically me though. I'm getting better at it now and way better than I was when I was younger. But I was a person that could hold on to anger. Like I could, if you piss me off, like I could be mad at you for forever. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
trust
So
me, I'm
I,
that person.
I can hold on to it. Like I could be good and then I see you and I automatically get pissed off again.
I'm that
So
person. I'll stay
I
mad
can
forever at
definitely
you.
say
You make
that.
me mad, I'll stay mad forever. But the thing is, I'm not vindictive. I'm not always plotting against you. You know what I'm saying? I'm not always trying to get back. I'll just get mad at you. I'll remember that you did something to piss me off, and I'll probably get back in that same emotional state with you right then. But I'm not plotting on how to get back at you. I'm not trying to get my one up. Majority of times when women get angry or they get hurt by you, their whole thing now about you is trying to get back, and they don't care they don't care who they hurt or what the consequences are. They're gonna get back at you for it. They're gonna get their lick back. Yes, I am that person, Cherie. If I get mad at you, I stay mad.
So a
Interesting.
good,
Any
good
more questions?
ender to the conversation. I think we definitely we got some communication barriers that I don't think we're gonna solve in this hour and a half.
Okay, Tammy said that anger is a response. The emotion is disappointment, fear, etc.
I can
It's
kind of see that. I can
it's
see that.
are we? It's I feel like it's the same thing. It's pretty much the same thing.
I mean, they can go.
I
Well,
mean,
you know,
because you could say that sadness is an emotion and the response is crying. I mean,
Yeah, I think
it's
anger
the
is an
same
emotion.
thing.
Anger
It's
is an
the same
emotion.
thing.
I feel angry. I feel anger. I don't respond with anger. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah,
feel
like
angry.
if I'm sad, I respond with crying. If I'm angry, I respond with maybe
violence.
yeah,
Violence.
it's violence. I might respond with
I might respond with
silent
tears from
treatment.
anger. I might cry when I'm
Yeah,
angry.
I
You know what I'm
might
saying?
respond with
Anger is
But
closing
I see
myself
what
off.
she's saying that the well, I guess yeah, I guess disappointment and fear are two separate emotions as well, though. So I guess
yeah.
they're not mutually exclusive, right?
Technically, it's not, but she will let it go.
Tammy, your one today, boy.
I mean, I guess.
I mean, I think my thing is that's getting into something about telling another person what they feel and how they feel. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel anger is so to tell me that there's not an emotion, but you can't tell me that I don't feel that at that point. You know what I'm saying? It's
And
not that
because
I'm not disappointed in a person That's why I'm mad at them. I'm not sad about the situation, and that's what brings me anger. Like if you come in here and you do something, I mean, like especially if it's something I said not to do, I'm not disappointed in you because most of the time I don't know you enough to be disappointed in your ass. I'm angry because you did something that you weren't supposed to do.
Yeah, angry is not an act of life. You can't do angry. You feel angry.
Okay, but that's people trying to that's people trying to get you to not react with anger. So they're telling you that it's not an emotion. They're telling you you should be able to control your anger because it's not an emotion. It's a reaction to something else, and that's a way for them to tell you should be able to control it. So they tell you that's not an emotion. You're not angry with anybody. What you are is you're upset. Or not you're upset that you're disappointed that this didn't happen, or you're sad because this here or whatever. Because if they're telling you anger is not an emotion, then happiness is not an emotion.
I've heard that happiness is not an emotion. I've heard that.
So joy is not an emotion. So you're saying you can't feel joy.
I've heard that. I don't know that I agree with it, but I've heard it.
Exactly.
Yeah, I've heard that before. So
I feel like these are just people playing on like the technical meaning of things.
Yeah, I think that's when we get into semantics.
So like I say, I personally, I'm going to subscribe to that. Is we already went through that, Nicole. So now you ain't got to go like you done did
Happy
something.
Women's History Month, ladies.
Oh,
I know that's right. I know that's right, Mom.
We didn't already. Oh, now you know it's right. When I started it off with that.
No, you said something about get rid of Women Month. You were being shady. This is your whole
Women's History Month.
You are shady. Okay,
It's
Women's
History Month.
No. It's Women's History Month because women have contributed to this society in a major way. Okay, you were being shady.
What did they make peanut butter?
Oh! You just
Stoplight.
all of a sudden you love peanut butter, Uncle Mel? Really?
Did they make the stoplight?
You know what? We don't have enough time for me to go over the things. I don't have to go over this with you.
Skateboards.
Google is free.
Music.
Google is very free.
Paper airplanes.
Google is very free.
Condoms.
Not condoms.
Google is very free.
Give me something they made.
I'm not giving you anything.
Thing.
Just to no.
Women's History Month. Give me one
I'm
thing.
not here to satisfy your ego. Okay, Google is free.
Y'all threw it up there.
No, you were being shady in the beginning because you said get rid of Women Month. If you were just tripping over your words, I wouldn't have said anything. But you intentionally
tripping over my words.
No, you were intentionally being shady, and I caught that. I'm smart.
I tripped over my words.
See, look, you're not gonna what you're not gonna do. You're not gonna gaslight me. I cannot be gaslighting. You're not gonna gaslight me.
Gaslighting mean? What is that?
Because you're trying to make me think I'm.
You're gaslighting.
Gaslighting means that you're trying to make me think I'm crazy for what I know you did. You were being shady, and you're like, I tripped over my words. I wasn't saying it that way. Yes, you were. And you're trying to gaslight me into thinking that I'm crazy, but I'm not crazy because I'm very smart. So, yeah.
We got Asian History Month and 2 more history months this month.
I'm just focused on women.
So y'all sharing them up with somebody else?
Broad history? Oh.
He's saying not broad like women.
Oh.
As in 3.
What we doing in this woodshed now. Women History Month, you better watch yourself, you know. Hey, my niece on here, Tammy, stop talking like that.
I can't even see it.
They made touch-tone phones, fax, fiber optic. Ain't no woman made that.
See, look at you.
Y'all might have made the heater.
The sexism is so alive and raging.
Y'all might have made the heater. We gonna give y'all the heater. Because you know what I'm saying?
What you mean you gonna give it to us?
Y'all might have made the comforter too.
Wow.
Space-saving furniture. Y'all ain't made no furniture.
They
made the GPS. They don't know how to use it, but they made it.
Ridiculous.
We good? Y'all want to throw some other women's history stuff in? Y'all throw Amelia Earhart. That's y'all one right there, right?
You should be ashamed.
You are.
You should be ashamed.
You're an idiot.
They made drywall. Definitely not. Definitely not. See, I know a woman that makes it. You don't even know what it's called. Drywall. See that? Hey. Yeah, we ain't no man made no menstrual pads. Put that up on that. Come on now.
Those are called sanitary napkins.
Thank you very much. Jesus. This is a man's world. This is a man's world. And collard greens and pinto beans. Okay. So this is Black Women History Month.
It's not specific to Black women, but we are Black.
Sharing it? We sharing it with the others?
What you mean sharing it with the others?
The month. We sharing the month with everybody?
It's are women the only are Black women the only women that are women?
Yes. The only women we care about.
Yes.
I mean,
white women ain't even from Earth. They're from the planet Nard.
All right, we gotta get out of here. We gotta get out of here now.
I couldn't get it out. I'm sorry.
I tried to catch that shit before you spit it out, man. We gotta get out.
I couldn't get it out. I was trying. All right, guys, we gotta go. We gotta go. I love my niece for coming on. We appreciate you. You spoke so very coherent. Yes, you spoke very coherently. I'm finna say cohesively.
Well,
hey.
No,
so we appreciate y'all. Y'all put in the comments. Tell my lovely niece y'all appreciate her. Tell her thank you for coming on. Tell her she should come back. Tell her stop going over to that knockoff. You know, stay with the home team. You did a great job, Egypt. You did wonderful. It's a beautiful stuff.
Insight.
Thank you, Shaka.
Next time she's on, we're gonna make her sing. Because we usually make anybody.
No.
Don't
I don't sing for free.
That's what
you're gonna sing for me for free.
Who you with, Joe Jackson?
Yeah.
No, I'm a performer, and I have to set boundaries, so I don't sing for free.
I'm with you.
I'm with that. That's my bad. As you setting boundaries, I'm done. But okay, I'm gonna ask a question. Did you charge the school yesterday?
It was last minute. I was doing
that. Wasn't my question.
It was charity.
I ain't asked what minute.
No,
it was
I did not charge them. No.
What happened to these boundaries?
It's charity. You do something nice for people you like. No, y'all are family, and y'all shouldn't get a discount just because y'all are family. But that's another topic for a different.
Family. I said we charity.
No, I said y'all are not charity. Y'all are family.
We are charity. We need some stuff. We need this.
If you need a musical guest to, woo the audience,
drive our ratings up.
Yeah, I'll do that for a quick little buck. I'll do that for a quick little buck.
That's all I need.
Because that's work. That's work, and I don't work for free. So
all I need is a quick little bug. I just need a woo. See, I do woo. That's all I need. You know what I'm saying? That's it.
Ignorant. That's all I need. That's all I can say.
All right, y'all. So as always, we'll get out of here. Check us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. Like, subscribe, share, hit the notification.
Tell a friend and tell a friend and tell a friend. We appreciate y'all. Come back again. Even though y'all was on my ass today, I still love y'all. No listening asses. We appreciate y'all for being here. Come back next week. Tell somebody. Share. Subscribe. Please subscribe to our YouTube. We really need y'all to get over to our YouTube. And all it is a click of a button. It's free. It ain't going to cost you nothing but maybe 20 seconds. So please do that and share that with your family and friends.
Anybody you need to say bye to, Egypt?
I love you guys, and bye. I don't really have anyone specific, so I'm saying bye to everybody.
All right.
Oh, and Nicole, I love you.
Oh yeah, Ma, I love you so much, Ma. Thank you for everything. You're the best.
I don't know about the best part.
Let me love my mama.
I mean,
love her, but the
best. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think my kids think I'm the best.
Okay, but that's good for you. I think my mother is the best. So.
She be talking about you though. She
wait for you. She loves me.
She like, man, me and this other woman in the house ain't gonna work. She getting grown.
You definitely said that. I ain't one to gossip, so you ain't heard this from me.
Hey, she
but here y'all are gossiping.
She definitely chatty patty. Fuck it, I might as well. She definitely said it. She definitely said it.
You better watch your back in there. She probably something about putting paws on you.
I heard it. Something about knocking you between the washer and the dryer.
Something about that. Your head.
That
it was your head,
that.
wash and dryer. It was something like that. I don't know like the order of it, but it was happening. I'm telling you,
Right.
watch yourself when she come in tonight. Just what I'm saying. Keep your guard up. You know what I'm saying? Duck side to side. You know what I'm saying? Keep your hands in front of you when you side to side, though.
Yeah.
I'm just helping you out.
Yeah.
Get your feet right.
Ignorant.
I'm just saying. She came on one day, said something about smelling yourself, and that was that. So
That was that. That was
I
that.
think that means that this has come to an end.
We out of here. We love y'all.
Yeah.
We'll catch you all next week. Same bad time, same bad channel.
peace.